Welcome to the 2015 American Golf Long Drive Championship here at the Highley Park Golf Club in Knutsford near Manchester. After UK-wide in-store qualifiers, the longest hitters from each competition category are here to battle it out for the titles and the prize of a trip to compete at the World Long Drive Championship in the USA.
It's the first year we've done this. There's obviously the World Long Drive Championship in America, and we tried to basically unearth the next big hitter in the UK. And hopefully, this can move on to next year, and we get people like Joe Miller, who's the World Long Drive champ, competing. And we've been speaking to Joe, and he's been impressed with what we're doing.
We actually held qualifiers in all of our 105 stores across the UK and Ireland. The top 15 hitters were invited to the Long Drive final, which is taking place today. It was really about going down another avenue of golf, something different that's not your usual golfing tournament. So that was the thought behind it, and obviously we've got the finalists here today, so it's very exciting.
It's the basics of a golf swing. It's hitting the ball a long way. I mean, some of the guys, Dan, who's competing, is a professional golfer. So these guys can play. It's just they hit it a lot longer than the normal guy. So it is a little bit different. You've got the music, you've got the atmosphere. But I think golf could learn a lot from it, to be fair. The fact it's a little bit more exciting on the tee, and we see it at the Ryder Cup with the music and the players engaging with the crowd a little bit more. And I think there's room for that in golf. It'd be fantastic if the winners of our event went on to win the World Long Drive Championship in America. That for us would be great, that we'd actually unearthed a new talent. We'd sent them over to America, and they came back with a trophy. It would be amazing.
It's the calm before the storm in more ways than one, with some very wet and windy weather on its way for the finals. Before we get to the action though, let's take a look at how this championship works. The competition categories are ladies, over 45 men and under 45 men. First up, it's a round-robin league format. 3 balls per match, longest distance wins. The top 2 players in each league will contest a winner-takes-all 6-ball final shootout. The longest drive in the final books a seat on the plane. If you haven't seen long driving before, the players must keep their ball within the grid to count. The grid is marked at 50-yard increments, and today it's 40 yards wide. The ball is measured from where it finishes rolling, but if it goes OB, out of bounds, it doesn't count. The ladies got the competition underway in their round robin with 5 players through from the in-store qualifiers. Pro golfer Rebecca McGinley comes in as favourite, but in this high-pressure format, Becky Tilk, Isabel Green, Sharon McCasey and Abby Gallagher-Rowlands will certainly be in the mix. In match 1 of this 10-match round robin, the youngest player at this year's championship, 14-year-old Abby Gallagher-Rowlands, opened her account with an excellent drive of 224 yards to take the 2 points from opponent Isabel Green. Becky Tilk also started strongly, beating Sharon McCasey in match 2 with a 238-yard drive. In match 3, Rebecca McGinley entered the fray. She beat Isabel Green, equaling Becky Tilk's 238-yard effort. Then followed second wins for the 2 Rebeccas, moving them to 4 points each at the top of the leaderboard. From there though, Rebecca McGinley went into another gear to finish with an 8-point maximum and best distances of 295, 311 and 321 yards. Rebecca underlining her status as the favourite for top honours. Isabel Green then ruined Becky Tilke's perfect start, leaving Becky on 4 points and in a real battle for that precious second spot in the final. Green then went on to beat Sharon McCasey to level the score at 4 points apiece with Tilke. It just wasn't Sharon's day. Then when Abby Gallagher-Rowlands also beat Sharon as weather conditions made things very difficult for the players, it became a three-way tie for second place. In the end, it all came down to the best distance for second, meaning Becky Tilke grabbed a place in the final courtesy of a 242-yard drive in match 4 against Abby Gallagher-Rowlands. Abby and Isabel just missing out, but the round robin belonged to McGinley. The ladies' final coming up then, but first let's hear from Julie Benford of Garmin about their involvement in this new event.
Golf is all about measuring and accuracy and distance. So yeah, we came into this market about 5 years ago. It's absolutely awesome. Since we've entered into this category, we've had an amazing partnership with American Golf. So to have the opportunity to partnership them in this particular event, just a great and exciting opportunity.
It's time for the ladies' final here at the American Golf Long Drive Championship, a head-to-head battle between Becky Tilke and Rebecca McGinley over 6 balls for a place on the plane to the USA. Rob Cooper, the tournament referee, with the toss, and it's Rebecca McGinley to tee it up first. The 24-year-old Sunderland fan from Northumberland stands 5 feet 11. Her golf hero is Laura Davies, and for a rookie long driver, she's already got an awesome PB of 349 yards.
I've always hit it a long way, and to see other people, other girls, ladies, trying to compete in an event like this, it's really nice to see, so that they don't just think, oh, I've got no chance, or, oh, I'll just not waste my time or so. It is really nice to see other women competing and trying to do what they love to do.
McGinley then up first, and this 6-ball final, 2 sets of 3. And all long drivers will tell you, first and foremost, it's about getting one on the grid. And once you've registered a number, then you can really open those shoulders. Now, Scope will tell us airtime and distance. And this very accurate Ladies Access Tour player has managed to find the grid, and she's managed to get a decent distance away as well. 272, nowhere near as long as she can hit. But a sigh of relief, a puff of the cheeks from McGinley as she gets one on the scoreboard. Now then, that leaves her with 5 balls to really go at. How much further can she take the ball in this ladies' final? Gone after it again, and that one as well. To coin a phrase by Bing Crosby, straight down the middle. Getting better. Another 2-yard advancement. Well, she's still not fully happy, is she? But McGinley now then can relax a bit and really let rip. Oh, she's caught it. She's caught it beautifully. Oh, this one is flying in the air a long time. And that's going to be her best score. Doesn't quite get over 280, but that's a great opening sequence from McGinley. 272, 274, 279. Beat that, Becky Tilke. So it's over to the 24-year-old trainee solicitor Becky Tilke from Devon now to put down her marker. The former junior county player, whose golf hero is Darren Clark, is capable of 300 plus. She spoke with Gemma.
What are your thoughts on Rebecca as an opponent?
Oh, well, she's certainly formidable. She's been hitting it miles, about 100 yards past me each time, so I'm not too sure. I'm going to just hopefully maybe get lucky, catch a good one, and just the experience, alone has been fantastic. So to go home and be able to say that I've won would just be amazing.
First 3 balls then of this 6-ball final for Becky Tilke. The opener was 217 yards. She's been very realistic about her chances in this final. And I'd say in these tricky conditions, 279 from McGinley. That's the outer reaches of what Tilke can get to today. Second ball then. It's going to stay in the grid. Caught hold of it nicely, but not getting as much run as she would like. And that one exactly the same as the first ball. So 2 217-yarders from Tilke to open her account. And I'm afraid she went OB on the third ball, just pushing that little bit too hard. But at the halfway stage, still needs to find plenty more if she's going to give McGinley a run for her money here. Last 3 balls for McGinley in this final. It's hard to believe she's still so new to the sport of long driving. We know what a good golfer she is from her performances on the Ladies Access Tour. But She's lashed it again. It's not going to beat her 279 best. 7 yards short at 272, but I tell you what, if Rebecca McGinley keeps going in this sport, she is going to set the world alight. Out of bounds with her last 2 balls, but 279. We've not seen the best from McGinley today, but I think that will be good enough. Well, it's been an intriguing ladies contest. McGinley has been fabulous, and Becky Tilk as well has contributed to this final. Can she find something special with this last ball? 279 to beat them for Tilk. Oh, she's hit it well. It's going to be in the grid. It's going to be a score. But I'm afraid it's not going to be quite enough today. And McGinley's the winner. A great performance and second place for Becky Tilk. But our champion, Rebecca McGinley, takes the big prize, that trip to the World Long Drive Championship in the USA. And on this evidence, it does look like American Golf have indeed discovered a potential new superstar in this sport. Coming up after the break, the men start their shootout at the American Golf Long Drive Championship, right here on Sky Sports. Welcome back to the American Golf Long Drive Championship here at Highley Park Golf Club. In the ladies' competition, Rebecca McGinley has already claimed the first seat on the plane to the USA for a shot at the World Long Drive Championship. Next up, it's the men's over 45 category, featuring the top in-store qualifiers from across the country. Steve Kent, Dave Small, Charles Seo and Mark Newton. And boy, did the seniors turn on the afterburners. The men's over 45 category proved very strong. The result in the round robin, however, was relatively straightforward. Steve Kent nailed a 336-yard drive in match 1 against Mark Newton. Steve then went on to beat Dave Small, still hitting over 300 yards on a consistent basis. Charles Seo responded, also beating Newton and Small with impressive drives of 332 and 317 yards. The last round robin match then was a dress rehearsal for the final. Seo versus Kent. Charles Seo victorious with this 333-yard ball to beat Steve Kent's superb first ball of 327 yards. That left Charles Seo as the round-robin winner with 6 points, but Steve Kent taking the longest distance into the final to set up a mouth-watering rematch between the top two. As for the numbers on the over 45 distance leaderboard, they were impressive with 7 drives over 300 yards. Steve Kent took top honours, but it was a close-run thing. Both Steve and Charles scoring consistently well, with Dave Small and Mark Newton far from outclassed. And so, to the over 45 final as the weather front began to move through and make conditions even trickier for the players. Steve Kent versus Charles Seo then for a place on the plane bound for the USA. Tournament referee Rob Cooper with the toss, won by Charles, and interestingly, he decided to put Steve in. The mind games were starting already. 46-year-old Welshman Steve Kent will tee it up first then, an impressive PB at 370 yards, and his golfing heroes are Sevi and Greg.
Around the death now, it's 6 balls and winner take all, I think it is then, so it should be good fun.
Oh, it's exciting, you're nearly there, prize is in sight.
Yeah, if the sun comes out, it'll be better.
The pressure was on and the nerves definitely came into play in this 6-ball final as Steve blew his first 2 drives out of bounds, leaving him just 1 chance to find the grid in his opening 3-ball visit. No distance recorded, and that's got Steve Kent's fast twitch fibres jangling, and he's caught this one. It's flying, it's going to stay inside the grid, and look at that go. 328 yards then for Steve Kent. Oh, a nervy start with those 2 OBs, but he came back strong, and more importantly, he came back long, very long. So the gauntlet has been thrown down in the over 45s, and the restaurateur from Surrey, Charles Seo, has to respond.
I prepared for this game for around 2 weeks. This is, for me, is one of a big event for me.
Are you feeling the pressure?
Yeah, of course, yeah, a little bit, yeah.
The pressure was certainly there on the first ball. He went out of bounds, then 305 on the second ball. This is 3rd ball of 6. Can Charles Seo find the shot he needs to go past Steve Kent's 328? Good smooth action, but he gets a huge amount of torque into that shot. Great power, great distance, and is it going to be enough? Oh, just runs out of legs at 324. Well, that's frustrating stuff for Charles Seo. Both he and Steve Kent have dominated the distances today and still swinging very hard in this final, but he comes up 4 yards short with his third ball. Well, we're getting into the evening here at Highley Park in Knutsford in Manchester. It's getting colder, getting tougher to get that ball down the grid. 3:09 with the first ball in his final series for Steve Kent, and this is another good one. Not sure it's going to be the magic number though. No, pulls up at 3:24, so that equals Charles Seo's best effort. Let's take a look at how things stand at the moment. Seo at 3:24, but it's that 3:28 third ball hit from Steve Kent that is dominating this final. Massive disappointment for Charles Seo. He couldn't get another ball in the grid, so Steve Kent's numbers stack up pretty well. What a final, a battle royale in the seniors, but in the end it's the Welshman with the magic. Steve Kent takes the championship by just 4 yards from Charles Seo and takes his place on the plane to the USA. Time now for our final competition, the under-45s. The favourite, pro-long driver Dan Connick, alongside Kyle Schultz, Martin Holder, Andy Fox and Dave Benford, were looking to raise the bar again. But in the worst of the weather conditions, it was tough for the under-45s, which meant that Dave Benford's second ball 3:26 in match 1 against Martin Holder was in fact the best distance in a nervy round robin. 2 points for Big Dave with a big drive. Favourite Dan Connick just wasn't on his game in match 2 and couldn't find more than 301 yards, and that was with his final drive after 2 OBs. His opponent, left-hander Andy Fox, took advantage to claim a massive scalp and the points with a 310-yard drive. Kyle Schultz went out of grid with all 3 balls in his opening match, but as the rain continued to pour, Kyle's form improved with good wins over Andy Fox and consigning a now worried favourite Dan Connick to his second defeat. Martin Holder was also struggling to find the grid, but eventually managed to shout his way to 4 points with wins over Fox and Schultz. He was also in a position to KO Dan Connick, but his 3 OBs in that match proved to be Dan's lifeline, which left the head-to-head between Dave Benford and Dan Connick as the big match. Not only did Dan need the 2 points to make it a 4-way tie at the top of the leaderboard, but he needed a drive better than Kyle Schultz at 307 yards. And in the pouring rain with the pressure on, that's exactly what he did, with this game-changing 314-yard drive to put him back in business. So after a tense and tightly contested round robin, it went down to distances in the under-45s, with top honours going to Dave Benford, and he's joined by Dan Connick for what should be an explosive final. Following a slow start, all top 10 drives in the under-45 category went 300-plus yards. The stats were dominated by Benford, with Connick, Fox and Schultz all featuring. Dan's 314-yarder proving to be his ticket to the final. And here's an interesting one for you. The distances from all 3 categories so far reveal that the seniors rule. Kent and Seo dominating proceedings, and well done to Rebecca McGinley, mixing it with the boys at 321 yards. The last ticket on the plane for a shot at the World Long Drive Championships is up for grabs. Veteran big hitter Dan Connick against the new boy on the block, Dave Benford. Benford won the toss and put Connick in first. The 35-year-old 6'4" Yorkshireman is looking to make his 11th trip to the World Championship. Gemma Kerr spoke to him before the final.
Are you feeling the pressure?
I just don't feel very loose. I don't feel any pressure per se. I think the other kid will probably feel a little bit more pressure. I think it's his first time, but he swings it pretty decent. So I think he's had the longest one so far, quite a bit further than mine. We'll see what happens.
Well, he's an honest man, Dan, and he'll be the first to tell you he has not performed so far in this final. Well, he's caught this one. He went out of bounds with his first shot. This one will be inbounds, but it's still nowhere near the distances that we know Dan Connick is capable of. 3:05 then. He's smiling because he knows he's recorded a distance, but he also knows he's left the door wide open here for Dave Benford. 305 yards for Big Dave to beat then, but what a debut for the 21-year-old. His first competition and into the final. He spoke to Gemma.
And you've got some stiff competition ahead of you.
Definitely with Dan. I mean, pro long drive, he's had 10 appearances at Remax, so it's really tough. I mean, this is my first competition, so I'm quite nervous.
Well, no doubt about it, it's an impressive debut from Dave Benford. All eyes glued on this intriguing men's under 45 final. But the pressure is on. He's missed with his first two. He needs one in the grid. Took a little bit of gas off that one just to get a score. It's going to be legal, but how far is it going to go? Just creeps over the 300-yard mark, but still 2 yards short of Dan Connick's 3:05. So when Dave Benford comes back for his final 3 balls, he'll be feeling the pressure again. How much pressure can the vastly experienced Dan Connick put on his relatively inexperienced opponent? There's the grid that the 10-time World Championship finalist is going to try and find, and he's caught one. Oh, he's got it, he likes it. And at last, Dan Connick has unleashed one into the Manchester sky. Air traffic control clears it for landing, and it's down, it's legal, and it's 333 yards for Dan Connick, and that's the difference between the two men at the moment. Well, OB with his last 2, but Dan has finally found a ball to do some serious damage. No doubt about it, but that big number from Dan has got to Dave Benford in this final. He's only managed 1 ball in the grid, and now with his 6th and final ball. This is it, last chance saloon, 333 yards to beat. He's got to go for it. Oh, he's hit it hard, but he's hit it wide. It's going out of bounds as well. Confirmation then that Dan Connick out-hit Dave Benford in the under-45s final. I've got a feeling we'll be seeing Dave again though. An impressive long drive debut for the big man. But it's Big Dan, along with Rebecca McGinley and Steve Kent, that picks up his boarding pass for the USA and a shot at the world title. And just think, next year, that could be you.